Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the Monday Night Football Showdown slate between the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple Podcast. Link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you guys have an extra minute or two and you could leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, that would really help me out a ton because every single rating and review boosts me up in those podcast rankings. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com. Also, link down below covering every single NFL Showdown slate, all the main slates as well. And I also offer an esports package, an NBA package that will be starting up obviously in October. And I do want to thank today's sponsor, Prize Picks. So if you guys are not familiar with Prize Picks, there's a couple different ways you can play for NFL. First way is you take over, under, and straight up fantasy points. So right now there's 10 players posted for tomorrow. They might post a couple more. You never know. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. But yeah, you can take over, under, and fantasy points. Or if you feel better about like single stats, you can go to like passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions, passing TDs, passing completions. A lot of different ways you can play. And you can mix and match sports too. They have all this, every single sport you can think of. They have first half contests. You would prefer that. Again, they have esports, MLB, everything. So if you guys want to try it out, you can sign up using the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. Link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. You put $100 in, you will get a free $100 to play with. And finally, I want to thank you guys again for all of your support on this YouTube channel, whether it be the videos, live streams, even on Twitter. Really do appreciate all you guys. Again, closing in on 10,000 subscribers. I think we're like 200 off or so. So if you guys do enjoy this content, if you could leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and you don't go live. I will be doing a YouTube live stream tomorrow, kind of general Q&A style. So make sure to check that one out, guys. And let's try to aim for 100 likes on this video. All right, so before we talk about players and their prices for the Showdown slate, we can look back lineup here from Sunday Night Showdown. Sunday Night Showdown slate. Sunday night went really well for us. My final lineup was Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Dalton Woods, Mooney, and Van Jefferson. So what I was hammering home on Patreon was I wanted Ram stack. I wanted either 5-1 or 4-2. I ended up going 4-2 in this one, but basically I wanted the passing attack. So my core was Stafford, Kupp, Woods, and Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson pretty low owned, only 13% owned, but he was out there a good amount of the game. And yeah, worked out well. Everyone got a touchdown. I ran it back with a lower owned Andy Dalton. Wasn't great, but like it was an ownership thing. That's what I talked about in the live stream. I had a gut feeling he was going to be too low owned. Like 22% for a quarterback is too low owned. So yeah, rolled the dice and Dalton didn't necessarily work out, but again, that was an ownership play. And then Darnell Mooney was solid, 7-8 fancy points, nothing crazy for his price. But yeah, that's it for Look Back, guys. Hope you guys had a good night. I know a lot of us on Patreon had really good nights. We had a couple, literally a point away from the takedown. So yeah, it was a good first week for us, and hoping to keep going for this Monday night Showdown slate. All right, so let's go over the Vegas odds here. Again, Ravens and Raiders, a 50.5 over under. Baltimore currently 4-point favorites. We'll start off on the Baltimore side. At the top, Lamar Jackson at 12-4. Obviously, one of the best options in the slate. He's expensive, but it's for good reason. Has an insane floor of his rushing ability, right? He's probably going to get you at least 6-7 points on the ground, possibly more, right? And he obviously can get it done through the air as well. Matchup I like against the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to be that great in the defensive end. So yeah, really, really do like Lamar Jackson. I think he's one of the better plays for sure on the slate. Mark Andrews, I think, is a safe option, right? He's kind of the security blanket. Targets probably going to get somewhere in that 6 to 10 target range. He's obviously a red zone threat as well. So yeah, Mark Andrews, like him. The one downside with these Ravens pass catchers is they're more of a run-first team, so they're not going to have as much opportunity. But yeah, when they do pass, they look Mark Andrews' way a lot. So if you want to pair Mark Andrews with Lamar Jackson, I think that makes a decent amount of sense. You don't have to, obviously, because Lamar can get it done on the ground. Then you have Marquise Hollywood Brown, a little more boomer bust. But the upside, I would say, is probably a little bit higher on him as opposed to Mark Andrews. I think Mark Andrews is a little bit of a higher floor. Hollywood Brown can go probably put up 30 fancy points or brace a couple long ones, and we know he has that ability. So Hollywood Brown, more of the high-risk play. And then we have the running back situation. This is kind of a headache. So Tyson Williams, my guess is he gets the early, or like he gets the start, and we'll see how much work he gets from there. They have Latavius Murray that is signed. They also have Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman on the practice squad. They might bring up one of those guys. They have Trenton Cannon also, but he's more of just like a scat back special teamer. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. Again, Tyson Williams projected to start right now. I believe they have him listed at the top of the depth chart. Yeah, Tyson Williams, then Latavius and Cannon, but they also, again, have Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman. They might bring one of those guys up from the practice squad, so we'll have to monitor that one. Hopefully we get some news in this, like clarity before the game would be nice, but we'll start with Tyson Williams. So the one downside with Ravens running backs is they don't have a lot of pass catching upside because the Ravens just don't pass a lot. So, Ravens running backs usually don't get a lot of catches. Now, Tyson Williams actually is a solid pass catching back. It's just, how much opportunity is he going to get? Is he going to be their bell cow back this game? I don't think so. Like, I would think it's somewhat split with him, Latavius, and maybe one other back. Like, the Ravens are kind of known for wanting to work 2-3 running backs, when they're healthy. Obviously, you had Dobbins, Justice Hill, and Gus Edwards. Now they're all injured, so that's the big question mark in the slate. If you have a really good read, if you're like, oh, I'm so confident Latavius Murray is going to get like way more work, then yeah, go for it. But as I see right now, it's kind of just, I don't know what's going to happen here. So there is some risk with these Ravens running backs. Again, Tyson Williams, probably the safest option. You have Latavius, who was just signed, but we'll see how much work he gets. Obviously, he's getting out there in age, but he's still a talented running back. Scrolling down a little bit more, so Sammy Watkins at 5'2", kind of just all right, I guess. Like, I don't want to go crazy on targeting a ton of Ravens pass catchers because, again, they're a run-first team. So I'm just kind of like indifferent on Sammy Watkins. I don't love it. I guess you can go there if you want to. As far as the defenses go, the Ravens at 4-6. If I wasn't a targeted defense, probably would be the Ravens. But 50 over-under, right? Definitely on the higher side. 15.5 over-under. So don't love going to either defense. Again, we have guys like Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman right now, both on the practice squad. We will see if like one of these guys get added. I think there's a chance like Le'Veon Bell could get a small workload. My best guess on what happens here is I think Le'Veon gets called up and they use Tyson Williams, Latavius, and then kind of mix in a little bit of Le'Veon. I think they'll use 3 backs. That's what I think happens, but yeah, it's definitely the biggest question mark I think on the slate. So yeah, obviously monitor that news. We'll go over that in live stream to see who is if they do activate one of those other backs. And then Justin Tucker, again, kickers, safe option. They're small favorites here, so probably a little bit more optimal than the Raiders kicker. Devin Duvernay is the number 3 wide receiver. He's only 2.6K. Like, I think I would rather go to Duvernay over Sammy Watkins just for the price, right? You have Duvernay 2.6, Watkins at 5.6, 5.2. And then you're kind of just getting down to punt plays, really. So Trenton Cannon might get a little bit of third down work, maybe. But again, he's gonna play a lot more on special teams. Tomlinson's the number 2 tight end, but again, he's more of just a blocking tight end. Prochet or James. I always forget how you pronounce it. Is it Prochet or Proche? I think it's Prochet. The flat min, $200. He's the number 4 of the depth chart. He might get a little bit of work, but really just a large field tournament, dart throw. All right, let's move on to the Raiders. So Darren Waller at the top of 10.8K. I think also one of the safer options. Probably going to get close to double-digit targets. Is the clear number 1 option on offense. So yeah, I think Waller is very safe. Derek Carr at 9.8, also safer option. We know quarterbacks just have a very high floor. Matchup is decent, not amazing, but not terrible either. So, kind of just indifferent on Carr. I think he's a solid play. Would rather spend up a little more from Lamar Jackson, but Derek Carr firmly in play as well. Keep an eye on this. Josh Jacobs, right now they list as questionable with an illness. I think he plays, but this will definitely change the slate if he doesn't. So, if he does play, I think it's going to be kind of a Thunder-Lightning combo here, Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. I think I would actually prefer Drake if it's going to be a pretty even split, because I think Drake would be more of their pass-catching back. But, yeah, that's another kind of unknown, right? Jacobs has been the guy for the last couple of years, but they just signed Drake, so, I think it's going to be a pretty even split. You have, again, Jacobs at 8.4, Kenyon Drake at 7.2. Now, if Josh Jacobs can't go, then Kenyon Drake looks really solid here. And I think would make for a pretty safe play. Would probably get a majority of the touches, I would assume. And you have the top wide receivers here for the Raiders, Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards, both young guys. Ruggs is listed as the number 1 wide receiver. He's $5K. Bryan Edwards didn't have a great year last year, but he's also very banged up. They're right now 1-2 in the depth chart, 5K and 5.6 respectively. I think both are solid options. I think I would rather go to these guys than the other Ravens pass catchers, just because I think I like Derek Carr as a passing quarterback a little more than I do Lamar Jackson. Again, kickers always fine, no issue with that. Probably small lean to the Ravens kicker. Not really interested in the Raiders defense at 3K. I think I'll pass there. Then you have Renfrow out of the slot. Right now he's the number 3 receiver, but I actually think he's pretty safe, right? He might not have as much upside as those guys out wide, but probably plays around half the game, maybe a little bit more. And I think 5-6 targets is pretty fair guess for Renfrow. Only 2.8K. Definitely viable as a punt play. Now, if there's no Josh Jacobs, then Peyton Barber could be a viable punt. If Josh Jacobs is in, then I don't really want to play Peyton Barber because he's number 3 in the depth chart. But again, if Jacobs is out, then I think you can make the argument for a guy like Peyton Barber. And then who they have listed as number 4 in the depth chart again? It is, Zay Jones is number 4 on the depth chart, but he's 1-8. Again, just we nothing more than really a dart throw in large field tournaments. And I think that's really it. Backup tight end for the Raiders, Foster Moreau's at 1.5. Again, crazier things could happen, but the backup third string tight ends and the number 4 wide receivers, for me, they're just large field tournament plays. I usually only play one lineup, so rarely get to guys like that. But if you're making 10, 20, 150 lineups, you can obviously have a little bit of exposure to those type of guys. That's going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you haven't enjoyed the content so far, we really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and live. Again, I'll be live tomorrow doing a general Q&A, so make sure to check it out, guys. We'll talk about actives and inactives as well. Thanks again. Have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.